The person didn't even realize what they were doing. It was just a silly chat, an offhand comment, a random memory in the middle of the day, but your name left their lips. And in that moment, something ignited. It felt like time had stopped inside, as if the world for a brief second opened a crack. Did you not feel it? The air grew thicker. The things around seemed to echo differently, as if a part of you had been called back. What no one understands is that there are names that carry keys. Keys that open doors that shouldn't exist anymore. But they are still there, waiting. And when someone says your name, especially that person, it's not just sound, it's an invocation. The universe listens, the frequency shifts, and the lines of time bend just a little more. Did you notice? Since that day, some coincidences began to appear. Certain songs played out of nowhere. Paths that didn't make sense started to cross. A scent in the air, a repeated number, a constant feeling that something was about to happen. It wasn't just an impression, you were pulled back into that person's energetic field. And they, even without meaning to, without understanding, without planning, ignited the memory of fate. The name they spoke wasn't just a memory, it was a code, a summons. And now everything started to spin again. You feel it in your body. At first, it just seems like random anxiety, a different kind of tiredness, strange dreams, emotional flashes in the middle of the afternoon, a sudden urge to check your phone without knowing why, or that nonsensical desire to go to a place, even knowing it's not the time or day. But this is how the invisible manifests. This is how the reunion begins, first in the subtle field, then in the tangible world, first inside, then outside. And no matter how much you say you've forgotten, no matter how hard you try to convince others and yourself that you've moved on, there are parts of you that never stopped feeling. Some feelings don't just disappear, they fall asleep. But all it takes is a spark, and everything comes rushing back. You know this, because her name, or his name, didn't come up by chance. It was the trigger. The seal that still existed has opened. Now a new line is being drawn. You can try to ignore it. You can look away, hide behind distractions, but your perception is different now. Time is behaving in a new way. The signs are becoming clearer than ever. Have you noticed that some memories have come flooding back? Things that had been forgotten for years now suddenly appear out of nowhere with a clarity that's almost startling. Places, phrases, touches, small moments, but full of energy. All of this returned because the connection between you two has been reactivated. And when that happens, it doesn't matter where you are or who you're with. Souls seek each other out, paths twist and turn, the universe reorganizes everything. And yes, sometimes it's confusing. It's scary. It shakes you up, makes you question whether you're losing your mind or just feeling lonely. But it's not loneliness. It's resonance. You're responding to an energetic summons, the other side called, and you heard, even if you don't want to admit it. And the strangest part is that, even without speaking, there are moments when it feels like you're thinking the same thing, feeling the same pains, going through the same crises, living the same phase, from afar. Because you are. That's connection. That person is being driven by the same impulses as you. Maybe they don't understand it yet. Maybe they're fighting against it. Maybe they're even with someone else trying to convince themselves that it's over. But the body doesn't lie. The heart doesn't either. And the name that slipped from her lips was a sign that there's still something to be fulfilled between you. A cycle that wasn't completed. A promise that remained invisible. An emotional debt between two souls that haven't completely let go. And no matter how much they say this is romanticization, drama, or attachment, you feel it. Because feeling isn't a choice, it's perception. Have you noticed that certain synchronicities have started to intensify? A message that almost got sent. An old photo that popped up in your feed. Someone calling you by the same nickname that only she used. Or that song you had forgotten. But now it's back. This isn't an algorithm, it's alignment. These are signs that the spiritual realm is using to prepare you. Because yes, something is on the way. And it could be a reunion. It could be liberation. It could be forgiveness. Or it could be all of that at once, but it will be intense. You will look into her or his eyes and it won't be like before. Because you're not the same anymore. But you still are. Something. And what was meant to be, maybe now it will be. In a different way. With a different maturity. with a different clarity, or maybe what remained needs to be wrapped up with honesty, but you can't ignore. The universe has listened. Now the winds are blowing back. That's why you feel this calling inside, this restlessness that has no logical explanation, this longing that isn't for a moment, it's for a place that only existed when you were together. Do you remember? It wasn't about the places, it was about who you were around her, about what you felt around him, the version of you that was born when you were together. This is rare, and maybe that's why it's still pulsing. You feel that the cycle is moving, right? Memories come in waves. You try to control them, but the more you resist, the more you feel, because you can't deny when fate starts to stitch two paths back together, even if you've been apart for a long time, even if you've said irreversible things, even if you've hurt each other too much. The truth is there are stories that don't die. They fall asleep and wait. And when the right time comes, everything reactivates, everything pulses, everything returns. But not always is the return meant to repeat. Sometimes it's meant to heal, to rephrase, to peacefully close what once ended in pain. Have you ever experienced something like this? If so, comment. I needed to hear this. And if this hasn't happened yet, breathe, because it's on its way. Your energy is already in motion. Don't be surprised if, in the coming days, their presence visits you in dreams, or if you feel an inexplicable urge to revisit old messages. Perhaps someone you both know will reappear. You might even receive a call or a silence, deep, strange, but full of meaning. This is how the unseen prepares the heart. This is how destiny signals that it's not over yet. You will know, because your body will tremble. Your eyes will well up for no reason, and a part of you will whisper, "It's him," or "It's her." And even if nothing happens, even if you don't see each other or talk, the energy between you has already changed everything, because the reunion begins from within. The outside only confirms, because the reunion begins from within. The outside only confirms, and that's why, even while trying to disguise it, your intuition is screaming. Did you notice? There's a part of you that already knows something is coming back. And it's not just him or her, it's you, returning to a part of yourself that got frozen in that time. Maybe you don't want to admit it. Maybe you're tired of waiting. Maybe you promised yourself that you would never go back to that place. But the problem is that this place isn't physical. It's emotional. It's energetic. It's a space within you shaped by this story. And no matter how many other people have come and gone, none have occupied the same corner. None have activated the same code. None knew how to touch you. Exactly there, you try to move on, but sometimes everything seems dull, as if life has lost a certain sparkle, as if even in peace, something is missing. And you can't explain why, but it's because the energy of that person still breathes within you, still lives in the details, in the way you love, in your way of feeling the world. It's as if that story taught you to perceive the invisible. And now, this is what you feel: a presence without a body, a noisy absence, a silence filled with messages. You are becoming more sensitive, more introspective, deeper, because the field between you is shifting again. And when that happens, the soul feels before the mind understands. Have you noticed that certain decisions of yours have started to change? Plans that seemed certain now don't make sense anymore. Routines have begun to transform. People are distancing themselves for no reason. Others are coming closer with absurd synchronicity. This is not a coincidence. It's realignment. The universe is organizing the scene, removing what blocks, clearing the path. And even if you resist, what is meant to be rediscovered will be, sooner or later. But remember, the reunion is not about continuing. It's about understanding. Understanding what you were, what you still are, and what perhaps you will never be again. But even so, you need to look each other in the eyes, so the soul can accept, so the body can let go, so the heart can rest. Because even today you still carry doubts. You still wonder if it was your fault, or if you could have done something differently, or if everything was just a beautiful mistake that remained unresolved. But what no one told you is that certain connections do not follow the logic of time. They follow the logic of healing. And there are healings that only happen when eyes meet again, when words are spoken, when silences are respected. And perhaps this approaching reunion is exactly that, the chance to finish with lightness what started with intensity, or to begin with awareness what once was only impulse. Have you thought about that? That perhaps now you are both different. Different in maturity, different in soul, different in willingness. What if this new version can finally experience what was once impossible? But don't expect a romantic movie. The reunion isn't here to please, it's here to set you free. It puts you face to face with the parts of yourself that you abandoned. It confronts you with the choices you made out of fear. It forces you to realize what truly matters, and to let go of everything you held onto out of pride. That's why so much is crumbling inside you, because the energy of the reunion doesn't arrive as a gift. It arrives like an earthquake, and only after everything falls does peace settle in. Are you ready for this? Because this isn't just any reunion, it's a reunion of souls, and souls don't reunite for no reason. If this has touched you so far, comment, "I needed to hear this." Now listen to this. Even if life pulls you apart again, that person has already left a mark on you, and you on them. That doesn't change, no matter how many springs come and go, or how many choices are made. Because when two souls recognize each other, time doesn't erase. It shapes, it refines, it prepares. And when the right time comes, nothing can stop it. Not you, not her, not the fear. You'll know, because it won't be confusion. It will be clarity. And amidst it all, you will feel that old warmth in your chest, that strange vibration that always appeared when she was near, that sense that something important is about to happen, and it is. So if this message made your heart race, if you felt like crying without knowing why, if you remembered someone you thought you had forgotten, don't fight against it. Just breathe and prepare yourself, because the next move won't come from you. It comes from the invisible, and when it comes, you'll notice, and nothing will be the same as before. And when it comes, you'll notice, and nothing will be the same as before, because real reunions don't come back to repeat the past. They come to show you who you have become, and who the other has become as well. You are no longer the one who believed that love was a promise. Today you know that love is presence. You are no longer the one who accepted crumbs waiting for recognition. Today you recognize yourself, even when no one can see you. And perhaps that is exactly why this reunion is now possible, because, unlike before, you are not looking to fill a void. You are overflowing. And when two people reunite in this state, there is no drama, there is no pressure, there is no desperation. There is truth, there is comfortable silence. There is a look that says, "Now I see you, and I see myself too." But before that can happen, you will need to make a quiet decision, to stop running from what still pulses within you. You don't need to send a message, you don't need to search, you don't need to justify yourself. You just need to allow destiny to act, because it already is, in dreams, in the connections around you, in the changes that are coming in strong, pushing you to places you never imagined you would be. And if you look closely, you will realize that everything is leading you to this meeting, this turning point, this bend in time where everything realigns. And perhaps when that happens, you will see that the pain that lingered no longer carries the same weight, that the forgiveness that felt impossible now seems natural, that the conversation you rehearsed 1,000 times no longer needs to happen the way you imagined, because the healing has already begun. Healing does not wait for the other to change. It happens when you change the way you perceive what you've lived through. And yes, sometimes the most transformative reunion is the one that happens without words. It's when two gazes meet and say everything in silence. Have you ever felt that? A look that takes the ground from beneath you, but at the same time brings you back to yourself. A presence that seems to have lived in you all along, even after everything. This is not neediness, this is not weakness. It's just what happens when two souls have unfinished business. They meet with maturity, but it takes courage. Courage not to turn this back into a prison. Courage not to lose oneself in the enchantment. Courage to feel, without trying to control. Courage to accept that sometimes the reunion isn't meant to last. It's meant to conclude with love. And you'll realize this if it happens. You'll notice that, even if it's just for a moment, everything will reorganize internally, because the soul knows when it's time to close a cycle with light, and if it's meant to stay, if it's meant to restart, you'll know that too, because there won't be anxiety. There will be peace, there won't be urgency, there will be presence, and for the first time, you'll be able to love without the fear of losing, because you've already understood that what truly belongs to you doesn't leave. It transforms, it prepares itself, and comes back changed. Perhaps that's why you're here, reading this to the end. Because deep down a part of you has already felt that the reunion is close, and even if your mind doubts, your heart knows. You just needed to remember this. You just needed to listen again. What is destined to happen will not be prevented, but it also won't be forced. Everything will come at the exact time when your heart is ready, and theirs too, or hers too. So now, your work is different. It's to take care of yourself. It's to let the past rest. It's to make room inside you for the new, even if it has the face of what seemed old. Because sometimes the new comes exactly with the name you've tried to erase. But that still remains, calling you, teaching you, preparing you. If this resonated with you, you already know. This conversation doesn't end here. Comment below what touched you the most. Tell me, have you ever experienced a reunion like this? Or do you still feel that something invisible is pushing you two toward each other? This space is for that, for truth, for people who feel deeply, for people who don't pretend everything is fine when it's not, for people who notice. So if this message made sense to you, leave a like. It helps this content reach more hearts that are going through the same thing. Subscribe to the channel now, because I have a lot more messages like this to share with you, and the next one could be the one that turns you inside out in the best way possible. And don't forget, you are not alone. There are many people living the same invisible calling, feeling the same nameless longing, the same thrill that signals he is coming, she is approaching. The reunion has already begun. Share this video with someone who needs to remember that the invisible also has a plan. Because when two souls are meant for each other, neither time nor silence nor distance can erase what was true. I'll see you in the next video. And there, I'm going to show you the side that no one sees. I'll be waiting for you there.